So who do you want to start, Leila?
Do Maluma. You start. You have the red cap.
Maluma, you first, bro. You're the king.
There you go, Maluma.
Oh, thank you. We
Go,
already know that.
go, my king. Go
Eres
ahead.
el más chiquito,
My
so you
lord,
get to start.
my lord.
Mi rey, dale.
My lord.
Well, the first time that I met Will was in LA. Actually, and the first night we went to the studio and we started making a lot of songs, and we felt the chemistry right away. We started making amazing songs, and like a week later, he told me that he wanted to release the song, and I was excited about it. Then I came back to LA, and was this song Ritmo, the one that he did with Balvin.
No, wait. Hold the story.
So that's a true story. But actually, I mean, the song was perfectly for him. I mean, the song was a big hit, and then we started working together again, and he changed the instruments of the song that we had together. And at the end of the day, we have this song that we're about to release, and we're very excited about it too. It's a big song. I think it's gonna be a big hit too.
Okay,
We're
but
excited
wait.
to work
Let's
with
go
them.
back.
They're
Let's go
great.
back. So how did you even hear that they wanted to collaborate with you? So Will called you. Will called Miguel. Who called you and said, "Hey, dude, the Black Eyed Peas want to do something with you"?
Actually, their management team, they're super close from my management. So they told me that they wanted to work with me, and of course that was a surprise for me because I've been a big fan of Black Eyed Peas for a long time. So when they told me that they wanted to work with me, I was like, oh shit, this is great. This is a big opportunity for me for my career. And yeah, we went to the studio. I had the pleasure to communicate with Will. He told me that the guys that were going to the studio the same night, and we started making the song, and that was immediately a good chemistry.
And really, was it a good chemistry? Did they behave well? ¿Qué tal se porta Will en el estudio y Tabú?
Yo,
no,
honestly,
they're great. They're great. Even knowing that they're fucking big stars, they're great.
No, you know what was cool?
They're
is
humble.
like,
They're still humble.
Like talking to Maluma, we got to know him as a person and his team.
Guys, you want me to be out of you want me to be out of the call? That way you can talk great about Maluma. And then I
got you next.
Don't get jealous, bro. Don't get jealous.
We got you next, King Balvin.
And I'm focused on my new Legos. Oh my god, bro.
You're coming up, King. You're coming up. It was dope. It was dope. We got to build and know his story and just like his background. Because, you know, when you get into the studio, sometimes you got to, well, for us, we like to build with the folks first and see who they are, where they come from, so that when we transfer that energy into creating, it's like a natural progression from that initial conversation and getting to know Maluma and J Balvin and the rest of the folks on the album.
And Maluma.
So Jose, your turn.
Oh shit, thank you.
Your turn.
Oh, wait, Jose.
What up, G? Dime.
Wait. 1, 2. Now it's your turn to talk. Okay.
Let go.
Lego in the Lego store.
Okay, what's up? What's good?
So how did you get the call? How did you get the news that the Black Eyed Peas? Oh no, actually, you met Will at the Billboard Latin Music Awards. Yes.
I think it was the Grammys.
The Billboard. It was
in
Billboard
Vegas,
Latin,
right?
In Vegas, yeah.
Yes. He was passing by, man, and I freaked out because I grew up with you guys, like and of course I remember, all the big moves that you guys did and with the Super Bowl and everything. So I was super impressed with the whole vision, and I was impressed. I was so happy that you reached, that you talked to me. I was like, Will.i.am knows my name. What the fuck? and it is true because you guys gotta understand that, I mean, we're from Medellin, Colombia, Maluma and myself. So we feel that first we're Latinos, so we were like really far away, kind of like, and we were just making it in the Latin industry, so we were already impressed with the big Latin artists, and then you start to meet in the big dogs in the U.S. market, and it's even more impressive. You know, that's true, because I used to see you guys jazz so far, you know, on TV, MTV, things like that. So, and it's still, I'm still in shock. You know, we cannot take everything for granted. You know, the fact that we're going through a great moment in our careers, it doesn't mean that doesn't impress me. You know, I'm still gratefully impressed that I can be with you guys on a Zoom call and talk about what we've been doing. You know,
there's a lot of history behind Black Eyed Peas. You know, there's a lot of years, and just as Jose he just said, it's like crazy for us to collaborate, be in your albums, and make songs with you guys. Like for us, it's a big deal, and it's gonna be like that forever. You know.
Thank you so much, and for me and us, for us, because collectively I know we have the same sentiment because we talked about it, but for me, like you guys are like, there's not a lot of genres that they're big in their area and then cross over and still keep the essence, you know. Like when I see, like when I went to your show, Maluma, at the forum, I'm like, yo, this is something else. This is like a whole different, this is like the level of like when Americans go big to other countries.
Yeah,
it's very rare that, you know, as Americans we go to like Guatemala and then we sell out an arena in Guatemala. And we didn't have to change our language to be successful in Guatemala.
Yeah.
So to see you guys come to our country in arenas was like, yo, this is the new freaking, this is pop. This is mainstream. Not, but still authentic to your core. You didn't have to change your language. You didn't have to change how you guys do it to be adopted in a different country. And it's just like, it's just the beginning for you guys. This is how big you guys are doing it right now. This is about to get bigger. So I was just like, you know, I salute. You guys are like,
thank you, bro.
American acts can't go to France. Whoever's big in the, you know, like urban acts in America, when they go to France, they don't really play arenas and stadiums.
No.
It's an illusion. It's like an illusion that America is big everywhere. That's not true.
Yeah,
America's not big everywhere. Medellin, Colombia is big everywhere.
To see Maluma and J Balvin. Balvin was at Staples, Maluma was at the Forum, and they were both big arenas that meant so much to us growing up. You know, the Lakers played at both arenas. So for us as kids, we grew up with the Forum as like, yo, the Forum. And then now Staples Center, it's like, it was, the energy was amazing because you got to see both artists at their best, you know, their production, the way they put their show together, and to see the artistry and the visionaries that both Maluma and J Balvin are was like impressive. And we were totally inspired by that, you know.
And also we got to see like them. We got to see them really put the stage together, and like, you know, really, you know, there for sound check and looking at every dancers on how they're moving and see how the mood was. And you know, Maluma and J Balvin, I saw that on both of them. Really, you know, really running the stage, not just showing up, but really being there, you know, making sure the dancers are on time and everything is good.
But make sure that when you guys came to the shows and we saw that you guys, they were about to perform with us and you were gonna be with us on the stage, for us, I'm sure that there was a dream, you know, that just came true over there. I mean, when some of you guys were, I got a feeling. Bro, damn, that was like what? These Black Eyed Peas over there, like next to me, like 2 steps away from me. I can't believe it. I'm gonna perform the song together. You know, that's crazy for us. That's something that is big and it's gonna be forever in our memories. I'm sure about it.
And one thing, Will, that you were saying, and Will Tab and App, you were saying how Maluma and Jose are so big, you know, that they're huge superstars. It's like the new pop But you know that I'm still not no pun intended, but I'm still trying. I still spend a lot of time translating that message to like American media when I talk about Latin music. There still is this lack of understanding that these Latin artists are really global, which is what you guys initially did. I mean, did you think about all this when you approached them? Was that also part of the connection of having them in an album called Translation?
Yeah, so we had first the album for many years. Our 8th album was going to be Infinity. For many years, like, yo, Infinity, we're just going to do an album called Infinity. So we were confused. I was like, Infinity doesn't really fit the to call the record. How about let's come up with another one like Translation. So it was Translation or Infinity. So I was really confused. So I called Jose one day. I was like, yo, Balvin, what do you think? Infinity or Translation? He was like, oof, Infinity's dope, but Translation. Translation. That one. I was like, all right, I'm not even gonna, because if I went to him for clarity, that's it. Yo, App and Taboo, how about Translation? They was like, yo, we're cool. Because we all three of us were both like in between, like we didn't know which way to go. So Balvin helped us, crystallize and just go with the title Translation. But the
it's all love, man, but it's true, like that's what's going on with our music now, but it started with your music, like we were vibing to your music, and at that time, I swear to God, I didn't even know English. But I was, checking translation. So it's like, it's the most beautiful thing you can say about our global music is like, at the end of the day, it's a translation, it's changing vibes and it's changing language. And like, I think 90% of the people, maybe they don't know English, but they mumble the songs. They translate in their way. Same with Spanish.
Yeah. Same with me with Portuguese. I don't understand Portuguese. I love Antonio Carlos Jobim. I love Bossa Nova. I love like Serge Gainsbourg. There was this one song like Lego.
Let go.
I gotta make a campaign with these guys, bro.
There it is.
Let go.
Totalmente. You really do.
You know what you should do all your you should do like all your cars, like the Balvin cars and Legos, and then have everybody build them.
There you go.
Or your motorcycles.
Let's go to the topic. Don't change it.
So this record, like we felt like, in the UK should be playing Spanish music.
Yep.
The way Nicaragua plays like Black Eyed Peas, and the way like we were able to play stadiums in Colombia, like they didn't ask us to change our lyrics to be played in Colombia radio.
Of course.
Like, so the UK should be playing Spanish music like all the time. Like it's a different world. And if America's not going to lead that, another country like France, another country is going to lead the way on incorporating every style of music and giving everybody like equal radio time, regardless of the language. Right? We still think about that. In 2020, there's so many different pockets, and we still have regional, but YouTube is everything. Like Spotify is everything. But we still have these like segregated, like, no, we only play music. But the Latin world doesn't fuck like that. The Latin world's like, yo, we play anything that's good. And that's what's fucking awesome. Because we benefited from that. We benefited from the open mind of like, Latin America and Spain playing Black Eyed Peas and not asking us to sing I Got a Feeling in Spanish. But there was this one story. There was this one story where the record company was like, "Hey, can you ask J Balvin if he could do his parts in English?" I was like, "I'm not gonna ask him that." They were like, "Well, can you just ask him? You never know." I was like, "Listen, I already know what he's gonna say, but I'll ask." I was like, "Balvin, they want to know if you could do your part in English." He was like, "Fuck no, I'm not gonna do that. I don't do that. I'm not gonna change that." I was like, "I told you he's not gonna do that shit. Why you ask me? Why you embarrassing me like that to ask J Balvin to sing in English?" And
but let's say I gotta say something about that, because before, a lot of the Latino artists, only way to cross over was do it in English, right?
Yeah.
Like it happened with Ricky Martin with La Vida Loca. It happened with Enrique Iglesias with a couple of songs, but they cross over in English, you know. And my dream is always been do a crossover in Spanish. And maybe the world wasn't ready at that time, but now is the time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if it's not now,
Yeah.
As Latino, we're gonna regret the whole life that we have a chance to make it global, and nobody took the balls to keep, you know, to keep doing what we wanted to do for a long time. So that's
Everybody's
why.
paying attention to the Latin culture right now. You know, everybody's paying attention. Everybody want to be part of it. And if we don't take advantage of it, it's not going to be in 10 years. It's not going to be in 5 years. It's just right now, the right moment to do it, you know?
Yeah,
Well,
and to
that's
take
why-
it to the next step.
That's why this album is so perfect, because we mix English and Spanish, and we are kind of like the bridge between, you know, the Latino community
You're a
and,
legend.
you know, all the things that we're doing over here in the pop world, so that folks can be like, oh, Black Eyed Peas rock with J Balvin, they rock with Maluma. This is exactly what we got to pay attention to beyond Black Eyed Peas. Now we got to focus on these amazing artists, and we're just knocking down the door and just contributing to what you guys have already started, because you guys have a lot of stake in the game, and we just want to contribute and just, you know, lend our services however we can, because we're a team, and we appreciate being part of that team, you know.
Like
I also
Rich and Tony,
think-
there's this dance. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead, Will, and then I'll ask all of you a question.
There's these awesome dance choreographers, Rich and Tone, and when they directed our video for they did the choreography for the dancers in the video with Maluma.
Feel the beat. Yeah.
Feel the beat. And he was like, you know, Will, I never really got into this style of music. This shit is fucking dope. I need to do my research on this shit. Like, so I was like, oh wow, check that out. We just made a dope ass connection.
Bridge.
Because he's never thought to like bump and drive and listen to. I'm like, yo, you gotta check this shit out, bro. Check out this song, check out that song, check out this song, check out that song. You need to check out this artist, check out that artist. So for a lot of people, this is gonna be like a new discovery, like real talented folks, like Rich and Tone, some of the best choreographers and dancers out there. And for him to say that to me, like, I never really checked that out. I'm gonna check this shit out. I love this shit. This shit is hard. I'm like, wow, we did something. That shit is dope.
Yeah.
No, I wanted to ask you, this album is going to come out in the middle of this very huge, actually I think the biggest race conversation in this country, and so you have the Black Eyed Peas, which are by definition kind of like the emblem of multiracial, multicultural, and you're bringing in 2 Latino artists. And I know this album was planned obviously long ago, but how does the significance of the moment weigh on you in like, do you feel that the statement you're going to make is that much more important because of the timing of the album?
I think like with what's going on in America right now and the far extremes, that's always been there since my grandma and her mom and my grandma's grandma. It's this ongoing thing. And I was blessed to be raised in an all Mexican neighborhood. So I see the world from like, oh, wow, you know, Mexicans are no different than I am. I'm no different than Mexicans. So when people would be like Apple, when I met Apple, he didn't speak any English. Like Apple's straight up, like Apple comes from like, you know, a village where they pumped water out the ground. He's like, I thought I was poor. I'm like, yo, that's a different level of poor, but he's really rich because he knows how to farm. He knows how to like farm rice. He knows how to like raise water buffaloes, kill chickens, catch fish with his hands. Like, I'm like,
oh my God, Apple.
His story is amazing. So, and Taboo is like, he's a pocho. He's like the kind of Mexican that didn't know that much Spanish growing up, you know? And like, so when he was growing up, he was with a black girl, I was with the Mexican girl. So he lived the black life, I lived the Mexican life. So
no color lines.
Yeah.
Like if you met me when I was 15, 16 years old, I had the biggest, thickest Mexican accent. Like super, super thick Mexican accent. Like Simon, dog, like serio pedo, like I'm not even fucking around. They say like
Simon,
so like
Simon, dog.
so I think right now is like a real, we didn't do that like intentionally, but it's an example of how people can get along and respect each other and have tolerance and have like patience and empathy, understanding and respect, and like take the time to really get to know somebody's culture. Take the time to like ask people like how they doing and really mean it. Like, how you doing? And really mean like wanting to know if somebody's stressed out, wanting to know if somebody's like going through it right now. We really need that because you don't know what people are going through personally, culturally, emotionally, financially, mentally. Like, and by opening up like that, the world could be pretty freaking awesome.
I agree.
Yeah, and like I wanted to just add on to what he just said, because something that I take away from this partnership with the artist is like the integrity that Balvin and Maluma have, the pride, the honor of being Latino and holding on to the language and making sure that the world knows that it's a global thing, and we're not gonna change for shit. We're this is who we are. If you love us, cool. If you don't, fuck off. And I love that. I love that. Like, I don't give a fuck what people think. You know, if you're rocking with us, let's go. We're not gonna change shit, because that's the type of personality that I appreciate, I'm inspired by, and motivates me, because a lot of folks in the States, we need to learn from that and know how to have integrity and know how to take a stance on things and really follow through with that stance.
Yeah.
Word.
And,
I mean,
and
I think that Jose, he thinks the same. I would say like in Colombia, we live it, but not in the way that is in America right now. You know, it's not that hard. So we were raised with black people, Mexican people. We don't care. We don't see the difference. I mean, I'm talking about myself, and I think that Jose, he thinks the same, because for us that was normal to be with black people, whatever it is, you know. So when I saw, actually, I was in Colombia when I saw the news with all the things that was happening here in the States, and it was like, shit, that was deep. That was heavy, because I think that in Colombia that's not gonna happen, you know. So for me, that was very shocking. And as you said, man, I think that we're just the example. You know, we have. If you see this chat, we are all so different right now. Yeah. But we're the example, and that's how we have to lead with example. Yeah. So this is a beautiful moment to release an album with all these cultures, with all these different people. I would say that this is a perfect moment to release a song and release an album, and that's amazing, man. We're the example.
Jose, you want to add anything to that?
I'm just grateful, but because of I grew up with music, and I make part of the music industry, and the concept of globalization, I didn't feel it until I started living it, right? So, and when I was going to different countries, the guys that I thought that they were successful and famous, they weren't. It was more like a image of the media in US. It's true, the entertainment is moved by US, and that's a fact. Nobody can tell me it's not like the biggest platform to say who is hot and who's not, Yeah. But when you start like for example, Black Eyed Peas, they were a real example of global acts, So I know if they went to Rio de Janeiro, people were there to see them. And if they went to Germany, if German people went to see them. What I'm saying is like, what I wanted to be clear about this is like, if Black Eyed Peas know what's going on right now with the Latin culture, is because they know how it feels to be global. You know me? So they really know how it feels to be global. And I love hip hop. I'm the biggest hip hop fan, but not all of them are as global as you think. I gotta be real. I'm saying what I
No, you're
believe in.
completely right. You're completely right.
So yeah, it might be places. It might be places where it's supposed to be the biggest artist in US. If Black Eyed Peas goes there now, I bet they know Black Eyed Peas and they don't know the other guy. Because that's the real globalization. One thing is being hot in the States. That's great. It's really important. We all dream with that.
Yeah.
But globalization is something else. And it's really when different cultures are translating to our world. And that's what happened with Black Eyed Peas. And that's what's going on right now with the Latino game. That's what I wanted to say. So thank you, because I know if you support this, is because you know what global is.
Yeah. And for us, like, to get to that state, like hip hop and urban music, in the beginning, they didn't really fuck with Black Eyed Peas. We weren't hard enough. We weren't gangster enough. We weren't street enough. I'm like, yo, I'm from the projects. I'm as street as it gets, but I don't want to make music like that. Like, I don't want to make music like that, because to me, that just reminds me of like pain and suffering. It reminds me of like the neighborhood of my friends being shot, my friends killed, overdosing drugs. I don't want to think about that, my life like that. I want to make a fantasy feel good, people travel the world music. I don't want to make my neighborhood music. I want to go back to my neighborhood and save my neighborhood. I want to go back to my neighborhood. I don't want to just talk about like the current state of my neighborhood. And so we were like, all right, let's go to London. Let's go to Japan. Yo, let's go to fucking, nobody goes to Indonesia. Let's go to Thailand. Let's go to Taiwan. Yo, let's go to Mongolia. Yo, nobody goes to Lithuania, Czech Republic. Let's go to fucking like Kazakhstan. Let's go to fucking Estonia. Yo, nobody goes to fucking, nobody's going to Guatemala and Uruguay, Paraguay from America. Like, let's go to Panama. Like we never really toured America because it takes too long. And you don't get paid that much money as far as the amount of time it takes to tour all of America. Crazy. So that's what made Black Eyed Peas global, is like going to those places. And then 100%. America came in, like, America came in later. Like, we didn't start being American. We didn't start in America. We started, like playing Stadium Azteca was more important than playing the Rose Bowl for us.
Wow.
Yeah,
yo, let's go to Stadium Azteca.
Yeah.
Great. I gotta tell you guys that
Go ahead, Balvin. Go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say that.
Jose, don't crash, please.
Now you talk about that type of globalization. I remember the first time I thought that I was global, I got to Italia. Everybody was so happy to see me, and they were like, "Oh, Maluma, welcome to the hotel."
That's hilarious.
I swear to God, bro, I was in Italia, and Maluma was already. I think Maluma, like me and Maluma were like the first ones who started doing like big tours in Europe, I guess. As Latino on the new generation, but it was a moment where I used to hate go to Europe. I don't know why. But
no,
Maluma,
but you still hate it, no?
No, I mean, I'm still, now I got used to it. But
I remember the day that you told me, like, bro, should I go back again on tour in Europe? And I was like, the fuck, of course, Europe is. I love Europe. It's one of my favorite places to go to tour. And he was like, man, I don't know, it's too old for me. And I was like, man, that's history. It's not old, it's history.
Bro, so when I start making my big tours, like the new tours in Europe, so that's the story. I was like, everybody knows me right here, bro. I didn't have to come and tour.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. And then they thought it was Maluma, so I was like, oh hell no, I'm gonna stay here for a couple of months.
That's a dope story, bro.
That's hilarious.
That's a good
story.
story.
One thing also about the States is that here in the States, people are kind of genre obsessed, aren't they? Right? So us included, Billboard included, but we always want to catalog things. It's like, what is it? Is it pop? Is it this? Is it that? And all of you guys, the Black Eyed Peas, and Maluma and Jose, you really do make music that defies description. I mean, Jose, I know we spoke about this yesterday. I know you identify as a reggaeton artist, but your music is so much more. Y Maluma, tú también. It's like it's impossible to say, oh, it's reggaeton or it's urban or it's pop.
Balvin, it's Black Eyed Peas, it's Maluma's, you know. I mean, I've seen Jose doing acoustic songs, and that's badass, you know. That's nice. That's inside the genre too, you know. Once you know that you're versatile and you know that you can do these different kind of genres, that's good to do it too, you know. Of course, you know, you're not gonna forget about your roots, you know, but it's nice to try different things, you know. That's for me one of the keys of my career, just trying to be in every genre, try to be different, you know, just not to get in one of them, just get stuck over there. You know, if I can do a song, a piano song, I would love to do that. If I would go and do a mariachi song, I would do it too, you know, because it's something that I was going to say that one of the keys of my career was that I'm versatile. Like, we can do it. Jose can do it. I saw him before too, you know, and you guys did it too. If you listen to the song, the Black Eyed Peas songs, they're all different. All the albums are all different, and that's nice, man. You know, to try to do different things. That's cool.
Yeah.
So I wanna ask the room collectively, since we're talking with Jose and Maluma about their two songs. So what stands out about the recording process for each of these songs? Tell me an anecdote that I'm going to love.
I just want to.
The Balvin song was my song.
I gotta say that was priceless. That is priceless. Esa sí está, esa es campeona. So why did you
I just want to point something out.
Him, Will?
Since we started this call,
I'm so sorry, Juan Luis, because I didn't know. I swear to God, if I knew, I'd be like,
I know you. You knew it.
No, I swear.
You're that kind of guy. I know you.
Bro, I didn't.
I'm kidding, bro. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Will, you were gonna say something?
Oh, I was just gonna say, the things you can do in 45 minutes. We started this call 45 minutes ago, and we saw Jose go to get Legos, drive. Now he's back in his house. That talk about multitasking. And now he has a nice pose, like Gucci pose.
Gucci pose. Drive.
I think he's frozen.
Okay, he's frozen.
Oh my God, we lost.
He's gonna start cooking.
Yeah. So the process of this record really was like being open-minded, being patient. Because working with everybody has a different style of working. So when you're producing a record like this, and like, because I produce and write and, you know, come up with ideas, so you have to like slow down. So if somebody doesn't like something, you cannot let that like hurt your feelings. If you play something for somebody, they're like, I don't know, you gotta like, okay, I cannot force my idea on this person that I just started working with. So you have to let the person you're collaborating with, because this is the first time that as Black Eyed Peas that we did an album with this many collaborations with vocalists.
Yeah, it's true.
Usually we collaborate with like, you know, Macy Gray only on one record, or like, but we've never collaborated on an album with this many vocalists. Yeah. So listening was the first, like, I had to like, okay, my opinion when I'm collaborating with these artists, I have to check that. I have to be the producer producing them rather than like, yo, you're on Black Eyed Peas. I cannot take the stance like, yo, this is the Black Eyed Peas record. This is how we do. Like, nah, you can't act like that. Mm-hmm. You cannot be that way. You have to be like, all right, how about this? Yeah. Okay. All right, let me go back and I'll figure that out. Oh, you don't like that part? Okay, well, how about this? It's the most like flexible. Like, I had to be a fucking noodle. I had to be so flexible on this record. you know.
So who did you have to be more flexible with, Maluma or Jose? Don't
I had to
answer
be
that,
more.
Will.
I had to be the most flexible with Shakira.
No. Oh, yo, that's another story. That's another story. That's another story. Please.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
You know.
I mean,
had to be more flexible.
I never worked with Shakira before, so you know that goes to one week. And you guys, we can talk about that.
But the reason why, but I learned from her, because the way she does it is like a school. Like she was like, okay,
1, 2, 3.
Number one. On number one, I fix number one like this, and here's my notes. And then on number 2, I would really like you to address this on number 2 and number 3. I was like, wow.
Then you go back to 1.
Yes.
Like, let's go to 7. Let's go to 10. Let's go to 20. And if we go back to 1, 1 is the one. 1 is the one.
But I had to try 100 times. I had to try 100 times, so I was sure that the first one was the one that works.
Yeah. The first time I've seen Will open-minded and really, just like he said, in listening. You know, he let Maluma and J Balvin really take lead and like really like, oh, you don't like, oh, you know, I think he said a couple of beats and changed something, and then, you know, Maluma and Balvin came back like, oh, I like the first one, you know what I mean? So, you know, Will just kind of like, you know what, that's what they like, and that's what we're gonna do, and you know, that's what made it meld together.
I was very honest with Will the other day. Remember that we're in the studio, and and this is a nice story. Like he was like, bro, the song is amazing, bro. The instrument is sick. I think it's gonna be our song. And I was like, fuck, I'm so excited. Show it to me. Then he started playing the song, and after a minute, I was like, I don't know if I really like it. I don't know if I really love it.
No, you know what you said, Maluma? You said this. You said, yo, if I'm going to work with the Black Eyed Peas, it's got to be a fucking grand slam.
Yeah.
It's got to be like, I got to feel like it's
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do a 50%. I don't want to do a 70%. I want to do a 100% to 100% that is going to be a big smash. So I told him, and I was like, Will, you know what? I like the song, but it's not that I love it. You know, we should try something better. I mean, we have talent. We have time. We can do it. We have no rush, and that's how the song that we did together came up. You know.
Yeah.
So you worked the song out in the studio. You wrote the song in the studio together.
Yeah.
No, you know what it's like. You know what it's like. It's like if you have somebody. I look at it as a challenge, and I looked at it as like, okay, let me recall my emotions, because if you work on something for so long, you start to get attached to it, and you treat it like a child. So imagine I have a kid, and I show him.
But
Maluma,
I didn't want to be tough, you know, and rough.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like, yo, look at my baby, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Isn't my baby beautiful? and Maluma was like, your baby is pretty, but it's not more pretty than me.
I know. I agree with that.
Yo, but honestly, to Will's defense, he's competitive with himself, and this dude, sometimes he just does 1,000 versions of one song, and until he figures it out. But that's the competitive nature of Will. Will's always been competing, not with, against other MCs, but also like with himself as a producer, as a writer. So he always like wants to push the envelope, like, okay, cool, you don't like that one? Well, I'll try this one. And that's the beauty of Will, is like he never gives up. He'll always try to figure it out.
Okay, that's cool.
Listen, I know I would love to keep you guys here forever, but I don't know how people are with time. But before we leave, I do want to ask Maluma and Jose. I can see Jose ahí ya haciendo almuerzo. Pero what surprised you about working with the Black Eyed Peas, especially because you guys have done a lot of collaborations in your careers, and so you've collaborated with a lot of people. I don't know how many groups you've collaborated with, and I can't imagine that you've worked with this kind of group. So what surprised you about the way that they worked, or what would you like to highlight that you kind of took away with you?
Jose, you first, man.
Yeah, how humble they are. That's they're real. You know, they don't pretend to be nothing else. You know, they know what they have. They know what they've done before. You know, they don't have nothing to prove, and they humble and creative and passionate about what they do. So it's much love and respect for you guys.
Thank you, Balvin.
Thanks.
Well,
Yeah.
I would say that they've been in the game for a long time. You know, we all know that, and they are still hungry. That's something that I admire. You know, because they did everything already. They killed it already. This is your number 8, right? 8th album.
Yeah, eighth album.
Number 8. Yeah, yeah. So that's crazy. I mean, sometimes I'm like, shit, I'm working on my 4th album, and I feel already kind of tired. You know, and I'm young, bro. I'm 26, and I already feel like this is a tough rhythm. You know, you cannot just go like this every single day, you know, and they've been working for so long and they're still hungry. So that's why I feel like I really admire them, and they're gonna keep winning, because when you're a hard worker, you just keep winning. And for me, it was such a pleasure to work with them too. So I hope it's not the first song that we do, you know.
Yeah, man.
No.
I'm so grateful for this opportunity to work and to have success after you've already had success, and taking a break, and your best friend was diagnosed with cancer, and we're like rooting for him to pull through and beat cancer, and with the dream of like, yo, one day we're gonna go back to Azteca, one day we're gonna go back to, you know, Stade de France, and let's get back. And for us, like, just like working on electro music, dance music in 2008, 9, and 10, like that was a new genre for us. Like that's not our genre. Like, we weren't electro dance producers, but we collaborated with the best producers, and then I Got a Feeling became like the #1 song in that genre.
Mm-hmm.
And because it was a new world, I was like, man, look at this world app. We need to go to electro clubs and fucking collaborate with these guys. And now here's a new world. Like we're astronauts. We're like astronauts going to different planets and shit. Like, yo, there's this Latin planet, bro. Oh my gosh, the Latin planet is fucking amazing. We got to go and meet the different presidents in every single freaking, you know, successful thing. Like Balvin's a president of his world. Maluma's a president of his world in this planet, this Latin planet for us. So we're just excited about like this world and being embraced by the champions of that world, and making music to compete. Not just like, we don't want to put like bullshit. Like we don't want to put out just like, oh, we're the Black Eyed Peas, everything we make. Like, fuck that attitude. I hate that shit. And so Maluma's honesty was like, all right, I'll figure it out. So when we were making the new version, I was like, oh man, I hope Maluma likes this one, bro. Like, oh shit, I don't know if I could take another fucking blow. Like, like, yo, you like this one, my G?
When you sent me the song, I was waking up. That was so funny. I was waking up, it was like 7 a.m. or something like that. And right away I started listening to the song, and I was like, shit, now Will.
Ahora sí.
His next level. You know, he just got there to 100%. You know, so it was worth it at the end of the day. You know, a little bit of pain, it was worth it. This is all love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
just want to say thank you for being open-minded and letting us be the translator from your world, and you as our translator to your world, and let's make it international, and let's combine these cultures and make something special. So thank you for being open-minded.
I'm gonna say it like this. Gracias a mis hermanos colombianos. Es un
Ya buen
placer.
español.
Orgullo Latino. I'm proud. You guys make me super proud to learn about, you know, all the ways that we can contribute and be part of this amazing frequency. I want to say thank you guys for allowing us to rock with you guys on stage. I can't wait to rock again. The last show we had, Balvin, was with you at the Spotify Awards in Mexico. So, you know, that was a memorable moment because the pandemic hit right after that. So that was our last performance outside of the U.S. And we really appreciate, you know, you being part of that and having us part of your show. Maluma, you already know what you mean to us. The forum was amazing. Thank you for doing the video with us as well and taking time. I know your back was fucked up.
Actually, I saw the video yesterday. I saw the video
Are you
yesterday.
still dizzy right now from spinning?
Oh, the video's dope, right?
Oh, bro, dope.
Yeah.
Yo, but like I
dope,
was saying, I know you have a messed up back and you got out of bed to do that for us.
Yeah.
So thank you, bro. Appreciate that.
We're here to work, man. Thank you, Leila. Thank you, guys. Jose, I love you, man. I love you guys.
Wait, I just
Well,
want to point.
remember
I just want to
the
point one thing out.
Okay.
Yeah?
We saw him on an escalator. We saw him pick out Legos. We saw him in a car.
And now
we
he's
saw him in
having
the elevator. Now we're seeing him eating lunch. All in freaking 55 an hour.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All in an hour.
And I woke up at 5 in the morning.
Yes,
There it is. There it is.
But listen, before you all go, I just want to remind you that the next awards are the awards where you all met. Not the Grammys, Jose, the Billboard Latin Music Awards. So they're going to be October 21, and I hope you guys are all there in Miami.
Ready?
Man, yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, de aquí a allá, we're going to be open for business.
Nice.
Let's go.
Awesome.
Listen, cannot thank you all enough for taking time away from your days. Jose, it's been a trip to follow your footsteps. Maluma, te luce ese baseball cap rojo y los Black Eyed Peas. Hey, 2 days in a row. I am the luckiest woman in the world. I think anybody else in the music industry would be like, I want to be her for a day.
Yo, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. I think it's the first time that I'm with Jose in a live chat like this. We never.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
Really? Haciendo historia,
dope.
carajo.
Let's go.
Besos, abrazos.
Let's
Love
go.
you guys.
Gracias a todos.
Thank
for
you.
wrapping
Thank you,
a
guys.
great album.